change. Time to ship another way. Feel it in the darkness. Sailing right into those jagged cliffs. Yeah. Some say we've always been insane. Hey, life's a foolish game. Simple equation for an enclosed system. Got the world gone missing. The solar CO2 emission.
Hello. How's that audio and video for you? Let me know if there are any issues. It's a little loud for me. All right. Let's get this started. I'm Gregory Avery Weir, and this is a bit of a Halloween stream. I'm doing Beckett by The Secret Experiment. I've played, I'm gonna guess, more than half of this in a previous session. It's very strange and creepy. Content warning for all sorts of things, notably bugs, insects, spiders, body horror, surreal nightmare shit, medical experimentation, existential dread. I've probably missed some stuff, but essentially be in the right Halloween frame of mind for this game. Sex. Oh yeah. I think when we stopped there was a little bit of nudity and some sex stuff. Hopefully we can keep this within Twitch's rules. It's all very tasteful. Well, no, it's not at all tasteful, but it's artistic. All right, let's see how this goes. So, I am on the trail of. I'm trying to track down the son of a client. The son is at least disfigured and maybe has some sort of mental health issue. I forget the details. But he has disappeared. He was being treated for a very cleverly named disease, and we will find out more. I don't think I have a notebook or anything. I'm sure it'll catch us up. Dead animals, animal mistreatment is also a thing, I guess, to trigger warning about. Voyeuristic intent. The curtains of the second floor window are tied back. A woman mops her armpits and the folds under her breasts and belly with an old cloth. She keeps her eye away from the street with secret hopes that others will focus and stare. Her skin is pale and loose. Her hair is blonde and tied back. On the floor below, the curtains are closed. A silhouette of a man holds what looks to be a wood-handled brush or shovel. From over his head, he brings it down onto the floor repeatedly. Vermin in Burra had long been a problem. You can either choose to live with it or wage a personal war. "Hey, mister, you looking for something?" he said. "Excuse me?" spoke Beckett. "You okay?" "Yes, of course." "Beckett, pull yourself together." "Do you know the park?" "Oh, wrong voice. Do you know the park?" "Sure, I live around here. It's our battleground." "Is a kid? Is this an adult?" "I guess it's a kid." "I've not been for a while. You know where the flowers are?" The flowers in Daisy's flat had been picked from Monument Park. He pictures her on the couch, watching television, alone. Daisy is the mother. "Flowers, yeah. You like violet?" "I'm not a flower person. My wife, she was..." "No, at the window. I saw you looking. She's violet." The boy's hair is swept with grease, and his teeth are a disaster. I'm looking for flowers. Can you help me? Sure, come on, I'll show you. The grizzled voiced kid. The kid runs off ahead, beckoning Beckett to follow. That's a good little thing. What is over there? It must be ahead. There's recycling in this town. I'm a little surprised. 317 might be a thing that we should remember. 317, if anyone wants to note that down. Actually, I have paper. I'm trying to remember if there's been a puzzle kind of akin to that, I guess. Putting my keys on the keyboard. I got a new keyboard, but this is not a keyboard-controlled game. What? The trees shiver and sway, gentle against a delicate breeze that touches cool across Beckett's skin. The sky commands a pale blue wash, and the cherry blossoms dance. Blue, green, pink melt. Birds perch on branches, bees swim in the air among flowers, and children, pets and parents play on the grass. Monument Park is a place of tranquility, an escape. Breathe in its air. Fill your lungs. Enjoy it. This moment is yours. Doesn't quite evoke what that text did. Burroughs Monument Park. Monument Park was established after the crash landing of the Gray Baron's plane in Burroughs barren fields. Today it is a much-loved escape from reality. It's a lie! Burroughs' memories are enshrined in the monuments of this park, founded by... They're here, you not forget. As you walk its paths, you will discover what made this borough great. Its lakes offer reflection. You'll find all manner of airborne species floating on their surfaces. The seagulls come here to frolic with, and eat, the other feathered folk. If flowers are your thing, Monument Park has a fine selection. Or if you'd like to hear the mad ramblings of Burroughs' ex-cons, well, there's a couple of crates for them to step up on, shout out their words, and be ignored. A singular day to walk in the park. My dearest friend, how we sing and lark. You will always remember these days. I know you will. More time will pass. I remember still. So long, dear friends, so long. Younger, observed, understood. Anonymous. Dead bird. Family of snails? Beckett would visit the park with his parents in the summer months. They'd bring a wicker basket and form a postcard pose on the shallow verdant banks. Tower blocks grew out of treetops where birds tended their nests. Beckett would bring plastic toys and place them in the grass, a game of hide and seek for imagined worlds. His parents were young then, younger than he is now. They held hands and dreamt of growing old together. Young love. You're pretty slow, mister. Man, I never want to get old. My mates are over there. The flowers are down that way. Hope you find what you're looking for. I grow old. I grow old. I shall wear the bottoms of my trousers rolled. Look away is an option. Movement. Ooh, what? Burrow was built on hard labor, building machines until machines built themselves. I don't know if that's background music or an indication. No more use for this man's strength and skills. This was the beginning of the end. A powerful man hollows out and, as the cracks spread, His frame breaks inwards. These were the better days, before the unemployment, the payoff, before father would be at home and casting his sunken eyes over the life around him. "I never wanted retirement," he would shout, but he built the engines that spun in the power stations, bringing 33,000 volts into the factories and their robotic arms. Beckett's father was the union representative at Parson Lowell's. His colleagues were his family, more so than his wife and child. He'd return at nights with dirt under his nails and whiskey on his breath. He wasn't a bad man. Not really. Sniper, general, commander, trooper. Old couple. They've spent their lives together, each knowing the other better than they know themselves. They are together in the physical world, old skin touching old skin. Alive. They share everything, except the inner monologues that choose to defy their feelings and offer up opinions that are not their own. They smile through the noise, having learned to deal with their demons with age. There's a keeper who might know something. There's another monument. There's some ears in a crowd. What the fuck is this? It's a fallen angel? Faceless angel or demon impaled. They fall from the sky, those angels who rear us, love us, protect us. It's the natural order of things. Cut the umbilical. Forget. Spare some moments, an expectation of jubilation, but they are empty. Remember. Father's hands bled for the corporate greed. The city should pay. He died for us. We should thank him for dying. The Lord is thy shepherd. A woman in black robes and white collar stands with strength and conviction on a box covered in silver foil and plastic jewels. She sweeps her eyes across the crowd, searching out those who are most vulnerable and using their insecurities to gain traction. She spots Beckett and holds his gaze, her hands raised as if lifting a large fish above her head, and Beckett averts his eyes. "Don't turn your back on the Lord!" she screams. I can't do that voice. Have I read Beckett? I've read Waiting for Godot and whichever is the one with the old people in trash cans. And I think he did the one some so-and-so's last recording. So I've read a decent amount of Beckett. Good stuff. This is not Beckett. This is far more noir and Burroughs, I guess, or Dick. Beckett shuts out the world and fills his lungs, holding his breath until his body shudders and then allows a slow release. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. The world flows back in through his brain, synapses firing and painting a fantastical picture of what exists outside. From the fog, "He knows who you are. You will be punished for your sins." He? Why do you think your God is a man? If God is a man, we're all fucked. Ranter. The city must pay. A man in a gray suit stands in a sun-bleached crate made for fizzy drink bottles. His eyes are a wild fury, and spittle catches around his mouth as he spits out a series of adjectives, verbs, and nouns. Grundy Jones is the focus of his rant. He made a deal with the devil, swapped limbs for pistons and brains for circuit boards. Grundy dines on caviar while the people he represents pick up scraps from the floor. He wants more. You'll find him at the shore, spending our taxes on private dances and cheap romances. "Let's stand up to the corrupt politicians," the gray man shouts in a rallying cry, but the crowd are sniggering. Talk to the keeper, who might know something. The flowers are being tended by the park keeper, dressed in overalls stained at the knees. Something from the past, present, and future. There's a conversation to be had here. The park keeper is a stooped older man. His head gleams when the clouds part to let through the sun's rays. His mouth is a letterbox cut with a knife in a melted wax face. "Hello, Beckett," said Jimmy. "Jimmy," said Beckett. They had known each other growing up. "You keeping well?" Beckett despises small talk. "Nothing much changes, Jimmy. You know that." "The seasons change." Beckett despises smart talk. "I'm tracing a young man in his 20s, thin blonde hair, ponytail, birthmark on his face." "Hi, I know that one. Keeps picking my flowers." "Been through here today?" "Over there spilling his woes to the senseless old bat." He was referring to the Oracle. "Cataloging how many voices? I'm sure I've reused some." "Reckon he slept here last night?" "I don't know. It's enough for me to get those ranters over there off their boxes on an evening. Why folks come to listen, I'll never know." He coughs out a muted laugh. The conversation has nowhere else to go. Beckett notices a swelling behind Jimmy's right ear, blotchy and red. It's of no consequence. "See you some other time." "You know, your mother was a lovely person. She didn't deserve what happened to her at the end." "None of us do." The Oracle. An air of calm and tranquility stirs around the woman on the bench. She is the Oracle. At least that is what they call her. That's what they say. Her world isn't ours. Beckett isn't part of it yet. Now sit by her. Cause the rift. She sits motionless on the bench, lost in a reality construction without influence or interference from the world outside. A cloud of tiny specks spin around her frame, a halo of tiny insects. He sits near and places his hand on hers. She turns toward Beckett with white, clouded eyes. Her smile is toothless. The cancer had taken her tongue. Her existence is maintained by the prickling bites of midges. The old woman's ears are crusted with wax. She hears nothing. "I'm looking for Peregrine Starlight," and "he was talking with you this morning." Beckett lets go of the old woman's hand. He gets up and puts a few coins into her tin. The keeper would be by later and exchange her earnings for bread and milk. What the fuck is this game? Something natural? A very long Ludus Novus episode? Ludus Novus is far more intelligible, representative. It's far less abstract than this. Well, except the false narrativism ones. Pretty sure this is looping. Some flowers live less than a day. Some live for weeks. Their lifespan is of no consequence. As their purpose is clear. I feel like there have been a few more Mugs errors as the game has continued, which makes sense. It's you always test the first sections most. I like these monuments. Yeah, they've got to be actually rendered in 3D. His life is no worse than others, but his sins terrify him. Religion has planted the seed of eternal damnation, and try as he might to reason with its ill logic, misdeeds fester in the back of his mind. I hope that one of the art people on this game is a sculptor. Well, clearly one of the art people on this game is a sculptor. I hope they make other sculpture. His mother attended church until she was unable to leave her bed. She had been alone. Beckett should have spent more time with her. He had his own problems. That this woman who brought him into this world lay staring at paint while the cancer ate her from within was of no concern to him. Another sin. Beckett seeks forgiveness. From whom, he doesn't know. The boys were crowding around a small stone circle, pebbles packed tightly. Inside sat cockroaches, fat crimson machines, each with a plastic figure glued to its back. Cowboys, Indians, and modern military. The boys used sticks to prod at the insects, which shuffled in response. Most had 2 antennae intact, each eye with 1,000 lenses, tiny hearts beating inside. They would approach each other, and the boys would holler. 2 cockroaches had their riders entwined. The boys laughed. Another managed to escape the circle. Crack was the sound beneath the fat boy's shoes, who jumped on its shell. Again with the weirdly specific fat phobia. A smaller boy started crying. Everyone else laughed. There's a moment, memories from another universe creeping into his, a dizzying realization that there is a significance in this object in front of him. This is important. Step forward, Beckett. Hear what your mind has to say. I guess the fixation on fatness kind of goes along with the worrying about aging that Beckett is doing. Still weird. This shadow, I don't know if it was visible on the stream, but it started out kind of pointing bottom right and swung until it was right over Beckett. All of those moments that were real, now stored in gray matter. A fictional archive. Cover versions. Do you remember her face? Think. Think, Beckett. Do you remember her face? Statue does not have a face. Those statues in the background are the other statues. The war was fought and won. Traumatic memories twisted and rewritten. Monuments raised to celebrate those who killed and to those who that ordered the killings. Amy was a pacifist. Faces forgotten to names. As photographs bleach were reliant on brains. Faces forgotten to names. Life stains. Memories fade. Open the box. Look at what was. Reconstruct the past as present and live in that moment. Just for a moment. Hold on to those that you love. Oh, Beckett, hold on. Beckett stands motionless, emotionless. His face is set in stone. Time passes. Move on. They would lie on the grass. She would touch his hair. Someone somewhere said life isn't fair. And as the world reaches its next moment, Beckett resolves to get something to eat. From there to the theater in time for tonight's show. He has not checked the reviews. There's a decent amount of Eliot in this text. That rhyme scheme is very T.S. Eliot. The insistent repeated rhymes. She would play until her fingers bled. I forget what she plays. Sadness. I can't read that word. Uncontrollable happiness and confusion. There was a true love there. There's that face again that we were speculating might be the kid. As Amy worked further into her depression, Beckett was no longer enough for her. Passion? Could be. She sought solace in others and afterwards would dwell in her guilt. In confession, tears painted black veins down her perfect face, but she made no effort to change her ways. "If you knew my mind, you could never love me," she would cry. Beckett wanted her as she was, wanted what they had, regardless of who she was now. He was persistent, strong, forgiving, and insanely jealous. He tried to hold on to the best of her, but now his collection of distorted memories tend to misery and pain. Her divine beauty, skin and shape, tinted with the vivid light of her death mask. The rhythmic motion of lovemaking replaced with the steady swing of a cold, inanimate body. The rub and creak of rope fibers. A private viewing. Not everyone can cry. Beckett digs his nails into the palms of his hands. Pain helps the pain. We'll add suicide to the content warnings. The city paper gave a 5-star review. One of the highlights of Borough is its prestigious Insect Bowl rooftop restaurant, where anyone who is anyone can sit and observe the workings of the outside world and the comfort and contrast of nouveau cuisine. Despite himself, Beckett finds himself drawn to the place. The slow braised stuffed lamb's heart is exquisite. Oof, there's a shadowy roach or insect of some sort on the side of the building. The insect bowl. Beckett is taken to a table set for two. He knows what he wants. No need to check the menu. A pair of pregnant uppers sit nearby, drinking vintage champagne. Crickets move slowly among green leaves, their hind legs snipped, struggling in the rich garlic sauce. You can buy them by the dozen from the market, sold in plastic containers. At the insect bowl, they charge a docker's salary for an appetizer. So you won't believe what happened to me. Tell me. The chauffeur made a pass. He never. He did. Of course, there wasn't much time. Wasn't much time. Is it still the Mexican? Oh no, I got rid of him. This one's Italian. A keeper then. Darling, he is sublime in every way. Excellent at his job. I wish I could say the same about Lindsay. I did warn you. Well, I thought the change would do me good. Mother used to tell me to try new things. You should know by now to stick to what you know, no? Yes, you're right as ever. Shall we order another bottle? Oh yes, let's. This champagne is to die for. I do hope Sammy is enjoying it. You know, they say the fetus tastes everything. Yes, and they hear what we hear. Don't you, sweetums? I keep telling Olivia that she's going to be beautiful. She will want for nothing, including fetal alcohol syndrome. Nearby, the unborn are considering mess from outside. Her mother's words, rocking and swaying those that were shouted in anger, sometimes with screams. Always the roar of it causes his heart to race. All men are bastards, Sammy whispers when the deeper voices died and the stomps. Olivia, calls Sammy. Hi, Sammy, returns Olivia. What do you think of the taste? It makes my brain feel squirmy. I still feel a little sick from before. Sometimes I just close my eyes. The waiter stands over Beckett, who scratches his teeth and checks his nails before ordering the heart and a large glass of Bordeaux. Achievement unlocked. Flesh eating flesh. We all start the same way. We all start without a future. We all start without a past. We never asked to know. We never asked to exist. We never asked why. Why? This is some sort of insect crawling out of a pupa. In fictional worlds. A familiar place. Pictures of Mother form in his head. All Beckett knows are stories. It's all we ever know. And here is a place for stories told outside of reality, pulling you into their fictions through imagination and hope. We all fantasize about better lives. We should go to the theater more, Beckett had suggested. To Amy, an escape from reality brought only sorrow. Smiles and laughter would only make her return to this world all the more difficult. In fictional worlds, Amy loved herself. In fictional worlds, Amy loved Beckett. In fictional worlds, Amy existed. Ticket seller. I'll take a ticket for the show, spoke Beckett. Of course, that's 16 for one, the seller said. Thanks, spoke Beckett. In future, you should book ahead. Most people do. Is it a sellout? No, but support the arts, etc. Having prepaid tickets helps the books. A man by the name of Peregrine Starlight came to the show the evening before last. Pre-booked. That's the kid. The son. Not a kid. Yeah, he's a regular. What of it? Was he with anyone? Sure he was. Whoocha! She was something. Black girl, dressed up to the nines. Got her here somewhere. The man leafs through a file of names, hand-written in blue ink. Yeah, here it is. Peregrine, Starlight, and Joan. Weird. No second name. Just Joan. Thanks for your help. No problems. Hey, and a big thank you for supporting the counterculture scene. We're the only ones shedding light on this godforsaken place. Sure. Eyes. Uh-oh, the city representative is here. Fuck, 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 fuck. Oh, the dwarf girl. Who? Oh, So the dwarf girl is the one who Peregrine was dating, who is not the black girl that has been talked about. So I can go to her, or I can go to the city representative. It was the girl from the flat next to Daisy Starlight's, Peregrine's dismissed lover. He feels a tinge of regret for the way he dismissed her before. An old man hunched with a balding head, a number of scabs on the scalp. Beckett knew who it was despite a difference in appearance. Screw the city rep. Talking to the girl. I apologize for being short with you earlier. That's okay, she said. You mentioned you were pregnant. I'm gonna be a brilliant mother. Does Peregrine know? No, I won't tell him either. He doesn't love me. You thought he'd be here? I was sort of hoping he would. He loves this play. You never know when it's the last time you'll see someone. Yes. He wonders how old this girl is, but will never ask. I'm Candace, by the way. Nice to meet you, Candace. Can we stop talking now? The play is about to start. And I'll never find out what the city representative wanted to talk about. Clack. Oh boy. I can control a bunch of stuff.
Morgellon and Ekbom live here. One pulls at his fabric skin, while the other scratches at the insects within. Aye, aye. Aye, aye, says one. You, says one. It's a conversation of no consequence. Picking and pulling, Morgellon finds a thread. Ekbom watches, but is distracted by the cockroaches that hiss in his ears. Morgellon picks and pulls, then his arm falls off.
This is more reminiscent of some of the
For a moment,
weirder Beckett films, Beckett plays.
Host to a million tiny creatures crawling under his flesh. Only for a moment. The doctors had said their realities were false. This stuff wasn't real. Yet, here we have Morgellon, one arm down, clutching a string of cotton. Now, most people would be distressed at this outcome, as having two arms is certainly better than having one.
So they say.
Morgellon is contending with different emotions. Morgellon had been right. Morgellon is right. This is important. Ekbom attains the fingers pose. Feeling the ants scurrying under the lines of his furrowed brow, he considers things. All sorts of things. He listens to the cockroaches. sees a shape smooth, the skin breaking as tiny antennae poke out and wave to the world outside. Now, most people would be distressed at this outcome, as knowing that your body is infested and being digested is, well, it's enough to make your skin crawl. Which, for Ekbom, it does. And he smiles. Ekbom is right. This is important. I, says one. You, says one. It's a conversation of no consequence.
Hopefully that cleared everything up. The shore. He wears feathers that beat at every blink. Can I buy you a drink? No thanks. Simple. Beckett is no longer part of any movement. He has a purpose but no relevance. His hands rest on the bar. The skin is still smooth from where he wore his wedding ring. 8 years. Under the neon glow, he can see his shirt cuffs hold stains. From out of the sleeve march a series of fat brown cockroaches. They move across. Hello, city rep. Here he is, theater goer, man of few words, all mundane, stooped and crippled. I hear that the reality principle got into your head. I wonder who he found in there. Where next, Beckett? Beckett looks into the sky, its milky gray blanket covering any stars above. The stars are said to provide hope and direction. No words for your friend? Shame, I was holding back a compliment. But onwards. Still things to be done. I'm on Peregrine's tail. I'll call him in soon enough. That, my dear Beckett, is good news. It will go some way to helping your case. Poor Beckett. Beckett says nothing. The city representative is everything he hates about the reality in which he lives. This is not his concern. Now fuck off. Go find his whore at the shore. Morgellon and Ekbom live here. A play about 2 people. Nothing much happens. The play bores some people acutely. Utter rubbish. Really, go do something else. Anything. Same poster. Amy, time passes slowly without you. Achievement unlocked. No consequence. In an unmarked van on a street whose name is irrelevant sit 2 men. Neither are known to Beckett, nor will ever become known. They turn a dial and listen to their ear cans. The moonlight casts the vehicle in a delicate silhouette. They wait for the bedroom lights to fade. The grub crawls across the pillow and nestles into the hair of its would-be host. Mandibles cut a gentle incision. Inside, a twist of organics and wire. Its sac oozes a faint trail as it enters the skin. Can you hear anything? Said Dvorsky. think so, said Tanner. I'm just getting static. No, beneath that, there's something. The two men moved closer to their mechanical apparatus as if his action would improve the signal in some way. Starlight turns in her sleep. The bug digs deeper and anchors itself firmly onto her skull. Okay, I'm getting something. Yes, I think you're right. The signal scatters and distorts. Starlight dreams. She holds hands with her husband. What is that? Maybe a husband. Smiles and warmth. They're on holiday. Peregrine is running ahead, holding a toy plane above his head. Its propellers spin. This is telling us nothing. So this is a dream bug? I think this is a dream bug. 3107. 317 was the number on the dumpsters. And I want to say that that was also related to the number that I got in the waiting room. But I'm not sure. Oh, right. 7/31. July 31st is the day that Amy died? The day that Amy's last show was? Something like that. Right. The signal scatters and distorts. The sun is covered with a black cloud. Starlight calls for Peregrine. He drops his plane and starts to cry. They run back to a hotel. Daisy's husband, George, brings her head to his chest. I love you, he whispers. Daisy feels warm inside, but something is wrong. Symmetry of beat envelopes. Broken line portions, which have suffered a reversal of sign, touch the same envelope as the full line portions. Dvorsky reaches forward and turns a dial. Beckett. Just kind of a bass thump when I touch it. Come home. You were wrong. My only child is gone. I miss you so much. I miss you, George? Is there nudity underneath all this? I don't think so. I'll never let you go again. I love you. He seems like a nice man. I miss you so much. Beckett, bring him home to me. Do men still find me attractive? I love you. Daisy is standing alone. George and Peregrine are gone. They no longer exist. Her bag writhes. There's something inside. She takes a look. Shit, said Dvorsky. Fuck, said Tanner. The whine becomes intense and the pair remove their earpieces. With 3 clips, a black insect cuts and crawls from its host's body. Daisy Starlight, her lifeless form slumped on the bed. Shut down the operation. Achievement unlocked. Death. It was the 31st July, 7/31, in a year that makes no difference. Beckett was younger. He still saw beauty in the world. He still saw hope in the world. On seeing Amy on stage, head tipped, fingers stretching and meandering over the piano keys, his future moved into sharp focus. He saw companionship, children, a family home, steady income, laughter and color, beauty and hope. His ears let in a music that filled his chest and lifted it. His brain frantically reconnecting thoughts and memories to accommodate what he was feeling by means of hearing. On stage, Amy was crying. Beckett didn't know. Her tears flowed with the musical notes as her own memories distorted and compacted in her brain. Demons rose out of the darkness and scratched at the inside of her skull. As the recital finished, Amy stood and left the stage without making eye contact with her audience. Her delicate frame awash with materials of vibrant color, twisting and catching as she picked up a pace, leaving a lone upright wooden box under the spotlight with the crowd's firecracker claps transforming a breakdown into a performance. Beckett sat transfixed. He had seen his future. The Shore. Vile Pig and the Meek. I like that. It's a good band name. Velvet Ant is a little too on the nose as a band name. The heat is the first thing that hits him. A raw human heat, a mixing of sweats and heavy breathing. He removes his jacket and drapes it over his arm, checking the pocket for his wallet and holding onto the lining. Stay safe. Stay focused. It's impossible to consider that Beckett will come across Joan by accident, and his description of her is vague. He only knows her skin color and a rainbow clash of cultures. But is this why you're here, Beckett? What drives your pulse, feeds your aging loins, poor Beckett? All alone. Breathe in the heat, inhale its odor, brush against the girls here and imagine that they noticed your existence. You don't exist. Will never exist. Does that make you sad, Beckett? Poor Beckett. The bar is mere steps away. Come on, Beckett, move. Don't tell me you're tired. Old man Beckett, this simply won't do. Go converse with the barmaid. You might find happiness there. Ooh, blow-up doll. I dig your look. What can I get you? I'm looking for Joan. Sorry, I'm new here. No idea who she is. Fair enough. Can I get you a drink? Whiskey ginger. I need to get through this, or nothing. I'm fine. Need to keep it together. Whiskey ginger. I needed to get through this. I'll mix you up a space rocket. It's my specialty. It's too loud to argue. What's with the badge? It's meant to be ironic. So that's her badge? Beckett pays for the drink and is given a smile in return. I'm Candy, by the way. Nice to meet you, Candy. I'm studying law. Good for you. We need to stick up for the little people. This world is fucked up. Beckett considers Candy. She's a brilliant person. He hopes her life plays out kindly. A process of questioning. Hey, I know you, don't I? He said. Beckett is silent. It could be anyone. Fuck, haha, I know you were at the building yard earlier, looking for Perry. And the man's eyes twitch in his skull, rolling around in meat-lined sockets, skeletons wrapped in skin. I'm looking for Joan. Is that loser still missing? Fuck, man, I ain't seen him here. Joan's over there by the stage. You might need to fight off a few to get her, though. The music is too loud to hear the... dull scrape of his neck as he turns his head. But he knows it's there. He looks into the eyes of Zabi. She smiles. He is held back by interlocking fingers. Oh, he is held back by interlocking fingers. The music is too loud to hear the dull scrape of his neck as he turns his head, but he knows it's there. He looks into the eyes of Zabi. She smiles. Zabi? Hi, beautiful. What brings you here? Shall we go somewhere quiet? What the fuck? Zabi is from the past. She knew Beckett when Amy was alive. They were younger. She looks great for her age. Beckett is torn. The past pulls at the present. He feels Joan escape from his periphery and realizes he was never there to find her. Zabi leads him by the hand. This conversation is private. It's between two people with a shared past. It lasts 20 minutes or more. Time is irrelevant. Nothing is gained from the encounter, but perhaps a sense of being. Zabi loves Beckett and cares for him deeply. She knows his pain and will always be there for him, but never part of his life again. Let's bring this to a close. They stand and walk back to the dance floor. I hope you find this boy soon. Sounds like he needs help. It's a good thing you're doing, you know? Zabi, I've been thinking a lot lately. Beckett, drop it, please. See you some other time. Zabi kisses him on the forehead before she was swallowed by the crowds. Beckett stands motionless. The music becomes a soundtrack. You looking for me? She said. He turns. Joan. In a dream, Beckett walks through the club to another place. Beckett and Joan sit opposite each other. She has full lips and deep, personable eyes. Beckett feels his age and awkwardness. She wears a necklace made of seashells, which she touches at with her crimson-red nails. She's waiting, unsure why this man has dragged her from the dance floor. Unless the venture pays well, she'll get in the neck for slacking. I need to speak with you about Peregrine. Really? You're shitting me? He's missing. I've been hired to find him. Joan takes a deep breath. We went on a date. To the theater? Yeah, how'd you know? The story of Peregrine and Joan. We met at some bar. He was dressed so nicely and made a huge effort, so I played along. He gave me some flowers, then pulled out a couple of tickets to some show at the theater. Man, what a dive that place is. I mean, who goes there? Then the show started. Everyone was so serious, I couldn't take it. Couldn't hold back the laughter. I think I even peed myself a bit. I could feel his face turning red, his birthmark disappearing and bleeding into his eyes. Then he looked at me, which is where I decided to split. I saw something unnatural. So yeah, I got up and walked out. And outside he started shouting at me. I couldn't believe it. I told him to fuck off. Then he burst into tears. He apologized, wiped his eyes, and then asked if he could walk me home. He was calm again. His eyes softened, and he joked that the play was not that good. It was a good thing that we left when we did. Then on the way back, we bumped into Jack. Thinks he works with Perry at the site. He's a hunk. Comes to see me sometimes. Perry fell silent. I don't think he knew. I was feeling pretty bad because I'd spoiled his night, and I know he'd had it all planned to go a different way and everything. Reached my house near Monument Park, and we stood there. I said good night, and he told me to wait. I could see he was on edge. Yeah, there is a good variety of art. Like, they set tones and kind of contexts with the art style. It's good. He grabbed my hand and apologized. It was still early, but I just wanted the night over. He needs help. Then he said it. He'd been rehearsing, I could tell. He asked me if he could meet again. I said no. He pleaded that next time it would be better, that he'd not been well lately. He grabbed me again, harder this time. I pushed him off and left him standing on the pavement. He was still standing there when I got to my room. I could see him from the window, just staring into space. It had started to rain. He was still standing there 20 minutes later. I was going to call the police, but then he was gone. Very good subtle rain effect. She looks fed up, agitated. Excuse me. Look, I'm sort of busy. Joan removes her necklace and drops it onto the table. A shrill pain splits through Beckett's head. Ice cream's on the beach. Don't go too near the sea, you'll drown. Keep your head above water, Beckett. This was his. No idea why I'm wearing it. It's fucking ugly. Beckett picks the necklace from the table and puts it in his coat pocket. A sadness spreads within. A creeping black tar from the heart. Look, if you do find him, will you tell him I'm sorry? I'll do that. Do you need me for anything else? Beckett puts the necklace into his coat pocket. He can taste the blood in his mouth. His investigation is leading him nowhere. Where next? He grips the table and, with effort, raises himself. There's money in his wallet. He makes his way to the bar. Achievement unlocked. Intoxicated. Beckett is young. He is standing on an escalator. It is longer than any he has ever known. Infinite. 3 steps ahead of him stands Amy. He can't see her face. He calls out, but every time his words are deafened by the sudden sounds of construction. One probably should be intoxicated in this world, or maybe that's his problem. When he refrains, all he can hear is the gentle clank of the escalator's rotation. Eternal. He lifts his heavy feet, struggling to move upwards, determined, step by step. All of his effort is put into movement. His whole body is straining and feels numb and oversized. Where are you going? Asks his mother, always by his side. I need to catch up, Beckett replies. Well, hurry along, she encourages. Beckett struggles up another step. Beckett feels old and weak. Step back into the present. He puts everything into this last step and is at last standing behind Amy. He reaches out and grasps her hand. It is cold and damp. Beneath the cracked nails there is soil. The skin slips smoothly over the bones beneath. The hand closes around Beckett's. He smiles. Happiness. Momentary. The pressure grows. The grip tightens. Beckett starts to scream. Let me go. He turns to his mother for support. She no longer exists. There's only Amy. The escalator stretches beyond any horizon. Stop torturing me, the young boy pleads. Please, stop. Beckett emerges in a dark, murky pool in which he struggles to stay afloat. He is in and out of focus. Voices arrive on a mechanical belt, fall, falter, and stumble off in directions his brain can't follow for fear the dizziness will let go of his eyes, bobbing upwards and back to sleep. The room is warm, and his body covered in a rancid sweat. He can hear the scratching breath of the woman lying next to him. Was this how it started? Is this how it ends? Sleeping. Beckett's grandmother would keep her false teeth on the bedside cabinet, a simple stretch away should she need them. Beckett stands at the door. As the lock shuts behind you, everything in this room will become a memory. He looks into the mirror, an old man looking back. Forgive me, Amy. History repeats itself. Always. Beckett dresses and checks his pockets. He finds the necklace of shells that Joan had given him. Death can be beautiful. There is a book on the floor. The Suffragette Movement. Good stereo on this sound. She lies sleeping, loved but unloved, lost in a better place. He won't wake her. Who the fuck did he go home with? The barkeep? Like, not Zania or whatever her name was. She was like, I don't want to have anything to do with you. Leave this place. He closes his eyes, just for a moment. It was time to leave. Achievement unlocked. Sin. You don't exist. A child. There was this girl at school who I kicked because she tried to kiss me. I lie awake crying at night because of that. I'm sorry. Mom told me never to go with strangers. They keep dogs in cars. I like dogs, but they don't like me. I tried to pat one once. It bit me. I'm scared of dying. I can't sleep. The thought is everywhere, and I shake my head to try and get rid of it. Sometimes it goes, but I know it's still there, hiding. A woman. We held hands and kissed. He whispered into my ears, and his voice made the hairs on my neck stand on end. I had found the man of my dreams. When my father died, he held my hand and told me to never give up, the life fading behind his own eyes as he gave over to the death inside. Men are all the same. Bastards. They're driven only by their pricks. Pricks. I'm sick of their lies. Animals. Total nightmare. A man. Take action. Tell those you love that you love them. We're all memories waiting to happen. We're all memories waiting to fade. There's a disease festering in our brains. We choose to ignore it, but it is always there. Voices inside. Silence. Least your soul is saved through your actions. Protect her. Turn a blind eye to your sins and stand tall and strong. Forget. Fire engine, crashed van, police car. What the fuck? That crashed van. Stop in time. They arrived off the streets. Lights on. Someone's awake. So there was a car crash. When and how? Alone. I miss you. Ignored. Lonely. I miss you, Amy. Newspapers. Morning headlines. The Echo. Police probe wrong man. City prepares amid protest. Final arrogance. Let them plan your births. Residents in protest. The world has a hollow ring. Proud widow drowns. Employment delays. Bishops accused of practicing reckless wants. Who has access to the children? She'll take on the men. Clues to why a child goes berserk. Beckett. You'll be late. Oh, hey. I'm near my apartment. Tent. Keep quiet. Tick-tock. Tick-tock. Father had a friend whom Beckett called Pock. Pock wasn't his name. That detail is lost to the mystery of time. Beckett was 10 or thereabouts. It's unfathomable. It's inconsequential. Pock was a philosopher, the kind who only practices their craft on children. Pock told Beckett that time didn't exist. Tick-tock. Pock told Beckett that they... I don't know if clicking this will actually help. Oh, good. Excellent. Didn't exist. Not really. No, he would insist. To exist is to be infinite. You are finite. You'll be lost in time. At a minimum, you'll need to have a meaningful impact on the infinite to exist. Pock, pock, pock. You are infinite. Our, he said, referring to the collective human race, our impact is negligible and our life aims are pitiful. We are insignificant finites. Beckett gawped. A 10-year-old insignificant finite. Pock's sculpting hands pushed hard on his brain, and the impression stuck. These things matter. These things are infinite. Take your mother. Take your mother, Pock would say. She is a lovely woman, a full figure, enchanting eyes, a genuine heart, but none of that matters. She'll live her life. She'll die. She'll be forgotten. And none of that matters. None of that matters. She has no meaningful impact on the infinite. Pock would often look into Beckett's eyes. His voice would become a whisper. You'll die, and not be missed, he'd insist. This was back when Beckett could cry, and tears would well up in his eyes and run in straight channels down his cheeks. After Pock left, laughing and play-punching the boy on his shoulder, Beckett would search out his mother in her cradling arms. She would hold him tight, her bellowing heart in motion beneath his ears, her chest expanding with each breath, counting up and down to her death. Don't listen to Pock, she would say, soft as hay. The man is an idiot. Of course I'm real, she'd insist. Of course I exist. She insisted. She existed. Mother died 31 years ago. She doesn't exist. Tick, tock, Pock. get out of here. I think there's a spot on the main zoomed out thing. There we go. Forget. Soft as hay is good. Here's this gentleman. You got the time? He said. Beckett could just about make out the person beneath its grime. I think it's after 4. You think? Guys, we got a thinker here. Shit, 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 shit. Shit, shit. Destitute, down and out. Forgotten man, sufferer. Look, I just want to get home. You're not getting past this way, mate. This way either. I don't want any trouble. Shame. Yeah, real shame, honey. Poor, poor Beckett. Tell you what, we'll swap passage for your wallet. No. What's that? Beckett panics, his old heart thumping into his ribs. He never picked up the courage to go inside. Neither did his friends. They say bad things happened in there. People were made to disappear. Beckett had wanted to exist back then. Open your eyes. Where are they? Beckett stops. He reaches into his jacket. Fuck. His wallet isn't there. He closes his eyes and sees Amy's face in the photo. He feels sick. Don't let her fade. He still has his office keys. Move. The poster. The pictures. Quick. Achievement unlocked. Fatalities. Why? Come on. Say calm. I love you, Amy. Love you, Amy. Back to where we began. The smell of warm piss and human shit fills the office. A distant echo calls in Beckett's brain, an unfathomable wail calling again and again. I'm being erased. Soon I'll be gone. Don't let them take me. He feels short of breath and unsteady on his feet. Fuck, shit, fuck, no, fuck, no. Shit! Please, God, no. Smashed frame. Whore. He can feel the tears forming in his heart again. The images shake and distort inside. I loved you. I'm sorry. Is that her voice? Was that her song? Check the attic, Beckett. Hopefully they've spared you that. Time passes slowly without you. An apartment with an attic. It's odd. Case. Shit. Combination. I know this. 3, 1, 0, 7. The day he first saw Amy. Empty. All fucking gone. Beckett steadies himself on the cabinet and pushes into his eye sockets. He can see her face. She steps backwards into the darkness. "Stop," he screams. "Don't go." Go away. Go away. Beckett. Beckett. Beckett, spoke the voice. Who is this? Is our valiant hero confused? Heavy night, was it? Fuck someone you shouldn't have? Look, just why have you done this? Calm down, dear. I've done nothing. I'm here to help. There's nothing left. There's always something left. No. Poor Beckett, feeling sad. Go tie up your loose ends, there's a good lad. I'm not playing this game anymore. That is not your choice to make. What am I supposed to do? You're the detective. Fucking work it out. I've nothing left. Boo-hoo. Come on, just do me this one last thing, pretty please. This will be your final act. Then we'll let you go. Don't cry, Dorothy. You have him in the palm of your hand. A sickening warmth spreads over his fingertips, clenched tight into a fist. As the thick blood pushes its way over Beckett's hand, across the ridges of the broken shells and down the necklace, it collects and falls with a tiny dull thud onto the floor. With each drop, clarity forms in his mind. Bandage the wound and move on. There's only a short time left. In the back of his mind, he can already hear the lapping of the ocean waves against the beach. Achievement unlocked. Memory loss. Hi, Lucy. The death of Beckett's father was delivered in a city-stamped envelope. He'd grown up wondering which of his parents would die first and running mental evaluations of how each would cope in the other's absence. The outcome was unclear, which resulted in him rerunning the scenario. Beckett felt hollow when their deaths came. Amy was alive, and he would fight against his instinct to project their own death sequence, blinking out the narrative through internal screams and distractions. But they were there, behind his eyes. On bad days, those bad days that Amy would use Beckett to offload her sorrow, frustrations, anger, and disgust, she would isolate him behind a slammed door, and the old instinct took over. He'd see her gone. He'd see him happy. He'd see him glad. He'd let the future play out in his head, a projection that would only ever be seen by him. He held it like an infidelity. After she was taken, the guilt remained. A niggling voice told him he'd wished it. He would shake his head again and again until only silence. He hadn't wished it. The death of Beckett's Amy was delivered in a city-stamped envelope. He never opened the letter. The shit from Burra is fed to the sea through concrete pipes. The shoreline is a graveyard for what was. Erosion. Decay. Remnants of the past thrown and flushed away. Beckett picked winkles from shallow pools, dropping the mollusks into his plastic bucket. His bucket was overflowing, and Father said he was proud. He will always remember that day. David. Scratching at memories. Charlie. Thrown away and discarded. Crutch. Mary. Bring out your dead now. Veronica? It's what we leave behind. Betty. Shadows of who we were. Harry. Our childhood is at war. Marion. With who we now are. Everything comes to an end. Amy. Don't forget me, Beckett. Military compound. Never going back. Flyer. The shore. Pullover and sandy suit jacket. Her hair is dark and rests neatly on her shoulders. She must be in her 20s, though Beckett can never be sure. She smiles at him. She isn't wearing an insect, which makes Beckett warm to her. He offers to buy her a drink, and she smiles again in reply. He takes a gamble. You ever met a young man called Peregrine here? She touches her neck with her fingers and shakes her head. One of the mutes. Bucket. Peregrine Starlight. And something unlabeled. The Military Correctional Center, fixing the 83% not capable of killing, had been decommissioned a decade past. The city kept its structure for quarantine purposes should the event ever arise. Driftwood. Shells. Bucket. Oof. Bucket is a charitable term for that. A man, a boy, a child. He stands at the edge of the ocean. In his hands are stones that he casts into blue wash. They skim and fall through its surface, a few reaching almost as far as the eye can see. Oof, a very unpleasant sound. Peregrine reaches only Beckett's shoulders in height. His hands are delicate. His eyes are familiar. Peregrine Starlight, spoke Beckett. Beckett, Beckett. The boy looks at Beckett as if he isn't there, focusing on the horizon, only for a moment. I've been instructed to find you, to take you back. Beckett can see the boy is considering something. In his eyes, the reflection of an empty beach. What happened to your hand? Said Peregrine. A dog bit me. Oh. Does it hurt? Not really. Peregrine smiles. Small teeth, flaking lips. His eyes are reddened by the wind or through crying. I had it all planned out. Our life together. But you left me standing outside in the rain. Isolated. Alone. Your mother is worried. My mother is dead. She never understood me. She just wanted her version of reality. Well, guess what? You're all fucking living in mine. You need to come with me. No, it's Beckett. You need to come with me. You really don't get it, do you? This conversation has been rewritten so many times, spoke Peregrine. How will this end? What will I say? What will you say? Will I be taken away in handcuffs to the city, or in a straitjacket to the hospital, ready for the surgeon with his knife? I could go home to my mother, take back my job at the site, knock on my neighbor's door, and promise to be a brilliant father. I don't want any of that. Those realities are false. What keeps you here, Beckett? Is the world not fair? What happens, happens. There is no meaning to any of this beyond that which we give it. Beckett reaches down and picks the phone from the wet sand. Beckett, spoke the voice. Familiar. You're not needed anymore. Beckett turns to the sun, breaking over the surface of the horizon. The wind calls to him. Caught in its invisible motion, a fading echo, Amy gently drifts across the water. An apparition. She whispers to Beckett, "Come with me." Beckett is no more. The sea, peregrine starlight, Bucket. The water shifts with the passing of time, moving the sand in rhythmic decay, day after day after day after day. Its surface separates two different worlds, two different realities. You can't have both. Peregrine takes a stone from the bucket and rubs his fingers across its surface. He'd made a point of collecting only the smooth ones. He concentrates on the feeling, a sensation that confirms his existence. He stops, then it's gone. There is a connection. This is important. The doctors had told him his reality was false. They were wrong. This is the most real he has ever felt. Yet the question remains, is this what he wants? The sea. Throw away or bucket? Keep it or throw it away? Chat? I've got to throw it away. Got a bit of time left. Throw it away. We've got it. He throws the stone far into the surf and watches in those final moments the stone fall into non-existence. Peregrine had come here to escape, but you can't escape from yourself. He reaches into his coat, removes the brown bottle, unscrews its top, and shakes out 3 small white tablets into the palm of his hand. One by one, he puts them into his mouth and swallows. Life is better this way. This is the reality he wants. This is the reality where everything makes sense. It's a future he wants. ends. Achievement unlocked. Reality A. Beckett is an original work of fiction by The Secret Experiment, written, designed, and directed by Simon Meek. All music by Simon Meek. Gorgeous music. Programming by Gordon Bell. I mean, awful music, but gorgeous. Location art and 3D modeling by Herman Serrano, who's the sculptor. Illustrations by Sean Mulvena. Poster art by Al White. Play narration is John Otway. Animation is Thomas Pollock. Beckett likeness is Rob Meek. QA, Emma Houghton, Luke Shaw, Stuart Fivers, and Abertay University students, with a huge thanks to Dana Galloway and Ian Donald for organizing. Other contributors are Jamie Gillespie, Ciara Dunn, Neil McGuire, Louise Meek, Megan Meek, Bethany, and Tallulah Meek. A lot of Meeks worked on this. Wonder if they're related. Archival footage supplied by the Internet Archive in association with the Prelinger Archives, Wellcome Library, and the Field Museum of Natural History Library. Flower animations, courtesy of David Montgomery. MRI scans, courtesy of Jens Fromm. MPI für Biophysikalische Chemie, Göttingen, Germany. I don't know how to pronounce German. Frame Nijinsky illustrations by Paul Uribe. Photography by Simon Meek. Special thanks to Harlequin Books SA and Glasgow Vintage Vehicle Trust for photo permissions. And a big thank to ISO Design, Scottish Enterprise, and Creative Scotland for the continued support. The events, creatures, and I'm going to stick with it. The events, creatures, and locations depicted in this video game are fictitious. Any similarity to actual persons, living or dead, is purely coincidental. Believed in and taken to market by KISS Publishing Limited. Alright, I'm gonna pick to keep the stone and find out what happens there. Place to find yourself. So did Beckett not exist? What's the deal there? I don't get it. I don't understand. Alright, I'm gonna click through this real quick. Scratching at memories. Thrown away and discarded. Bring out your dead now. It's what we leave behind. Shadows of who we were. Our childhoods at war with who we now are. Everything comes to an end. Don't forget me, Beckett. So he talks to a meat woman, finds Peregrine. Lucy thinks that Beckett does exist. Peregrine asks about the hand. Your mother is worried. My mother is dead. What keeps you here, Beckett? Is the world not fair? What happens, happens. There is no meaning to any of this beyond that which we give it, which is a very Beckett statement. It's a very existentialist statement. Although, I think Lucy would be able to speak more to that. So Beckett is told by a familiar voice here not needed anymore. Implication is that it's the city representative, but is that the case? He sees an apparition of Amy in the water. And then Beckett is no more. Does he walk into the ocean? What happens? Take a stone. The stone is the sensation that confirms his existence. The stone is more real than he has ever felt. So we tossed away the stone before, and he sort of, we got a picture of him with Joan, I think, which is especially odd. Maybe that was his fantasy that he was preparing? I'm not sure. Keep it. He drops the stone back into the bucket. The wind catches his hair, and he feels its gentle tug against his scalp. Peregrine stares into the sea. The waves are a calming influence, just like the book had said. He recalls happier days when he'd play with his parents on the beach, collecting shells and laughing at the silly creatures they'd find in shallow pools. Long gone days. He looks at his hand, sees the sand caught in the wound. It will need medical attention. Is Peregrine Beckett? I don't know how to reconcile that with narration. Not in Burrow. There are other places. Uncertain futures. He starts to walk. He'll stop when he can walk no more. Ends. Achievement unlocked. Reality B. It's a weird game. So yeah, I don't see any way to reconcile the narration. So Peregrine at the end had the same wound that Beckett had. Beckett got it from clutching the shells. Characters who clearly would have recognized Peregrine and Beckett as the same person didn't seem to do so. So at least in the narrative, they are not the same person, but they seem to be at least akin to each other. I don't know. So this has been Beckett by The Secret Experiment. It is available on Steam. I believe it's $20. Let's see. Excuse me. $10. A very good Halloween purchase if you're interested in playing something rather odd. Checking my achievements because I didn't get one of them. One hidden achievement that I didn't get, which is called, spoiler warning, Life. Called Life. Which, so I got an achievement called Death when Mom died, so I think that if I figured out a way not to place the bug, that I would have gotten that achievement. That's my guess. So Beckett is a version of Peregrine. Seems plausible. I don't know if the audio stopped for you. It has. Good. Yeah. I don't know. It's hard to say how much of this was whose reality much of this was. Um, Fascinating. It's gross. It's a gross game. I like it a lot. I will be doing a Steam review of it. Uh, Thank you very much to Lucy for giving me a copy of this game. I'm surely going to be streaming more. I I don't think that we've picked what Melissa's future-proof stream will be this week, um, but there will probably be a chance to at least see a bit of Mother Gunship in a non-formal future-proof stream. Um, this stream will be up on YouTube at some point, and we've recently done a two-part game run by Melissa on our friend Jim Ryan's Twitch channel, where it was called Still Waters Run Deep. It's a tabletop game using our Rosette Diceless system. You can check that out on Twitch channel and YouTube channel Otherdoc. Um, it was really cool. It was weird. We ended up making history, which was pretty cool. And I understudied for the second game. If you want more stuff by Futureproof Games, you can check us out at futureproofgames.com, or you can see our Twitter at twitter.com/playfutureproof. And I think our Facebook is just Futureproof Games. I think that's about it. Thank you for hanging out. I think I'm going to call it a night. Weird ass game. This is gonna linger in my head, I think. Um, Thank you for hanging out with me, and have a nice night.